Hello and welcome to Room 442. Sharman Singh, Pararia Battalion. It all began on November the 15th. Here we are now, December the 14th, and we have our final set for the World Cup. The final semi-final went today, and on Sunday we'll be seeing Argentina against France, which only the smartest among us would have predicted.
And who was that, James?
Here we go.
You and I, Sarah. And Mikey may have thrown one in there.
I got Argentina.
Yeah? Not. And who?
I thought you had Portugal to win the World Cup.
I did.
Oh, right,
Argentina,
right,
so-
right.
Portugal. I thought it was fate, I thought it was predetermined, but we only got one half of that.
In the end, though, the quality shone through. France, they take care of the upstart Moroccans, who are just brilliant throughout this tournament. We're really good today as well, but Theo Hernandez with the early goal was enough and a 2-0 win for France. This Moroccan team, let's give them some love to start with, shall we? Mikey, they showed up. We thought they'd have nothing left in the tank. They had more injuries. They lost a player in the warm-up today as well. They still showed up and didn't quit to the final whistle.
Yeah, what's unbelievable, despite all the injuries that they faced throughout this tournament, is that this team showed that they're not just happy to be here at a World Cup, not just happy to be here at a semifinals. They played like a team that could have went out and won the whole thing, in my opinion. They were really good. Yeah, the opening goal changed the kind of dynamic of the match, but it was the first time that we saw Morocco go behind in this tournament, and we didn't know what sort of response they would have. Well, the response that they did have, and what they showed everybody, is this team can hang with the best teams in the world. France was put on their back heel for most of that game, something I was pretty surprised about. And to be honest, even off the counter, they didn't really give France too much either. It was all Morocco, Morocco, Morocco. And in a way, they were a bit unfortunate not to snag an equalizer there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's still a third place game, right? Don't forget, which I believe they'll give 110%. Well, as much as they have left.
They got nothing left though, surely.
I
for
know
that.
you really saw it in Hakeem Ziyech. He gave everything possible, and a lot of those players did. But I still think there's for them that third place match. I mean, it'll be dismissed by a lot of people, but for them that's extremely important to finish third at a World Cup. It's
I think
huge
so.
For a team like Morocco.
for a team like
We
Morocco.
saw how much it meant to Croatia back in '98. The bigger teams, not so much, but to say that you finished third at the World Cup, if they can win that match, is something. But at the same time, if you were the club manager of any of these players, Sarah, you're just like biting your nails, because I'm watching those players limp around the field literally. We saw Says, right? He's been so good in this World Cup, did his hammy 2 games ago, played for much of the last match, had to come off in the second half, made about 20 minutes today. And you're thinking to yourself, oh, why are you doing this? I know it's a World Cup, but that's a hamstring. You could be done for months now.
Him and also Mazraoui came back in for this game, got taken out, didn't look 100%. But also, I agree, Ziyech looks absolutely wiped. Although Amrabat played such a good game and such a great tournament, I'm also wondering how the fatigue is going to affect him going back to Fiorentina. I am worried for the Moroccan players for sure, because they gave it everything and they left 100% on the pitch, which is admirable. But now we know that it's back to club football, and it's a little scary.
We'll do our best 11 next week, right? And there's no way Amrabat and Hakimi don't make that side, right?
Definitely not
Maybe
Amrabat.
more.
Yeah, maybe
Amrabat's
more.
a lock, right?
Amrabat's an absolute lock, and you're saying coaches are pretty upset or nervous watching their players. You know who's not? Team presidents. They're licking their lips right now, because the transfer fee you're going to get for someone like Sofyan Amrabat is going to be astronomical because of this World Cup. In my opinion, it's been like a sort of a James Rodriguez emergence for Amrabat. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to what his next move, what his next destination is, because he's had an unbelievable World Cup.
The fact here we are, 5 minutes into the show, and we haven't really mentioned France yet, just shows what a story that Morocco have been at this World Cup. They've been, for me, the face of the World Cup alongside Leo Messi. What a great story, but we should talk about the defending champions who have found a way to get to another final. Happens so rarely. The last time was Argentina, 86 they won, got to the final in 1990, lost to West Germany. It's been a long time. I'm not sure how talented this team is, Albert, 1 through 11, but there's enough talent there, enough know-how to get through these kind of games as well. Overall, a pretty decent performance against a very troublesome opponent.
Yeah, I thought Konate and Varane were fantastic today. They got their head and foot on everything. And Konate had to come in for Upamecano, who had the flu or whatever. He had a cold or something, some sort of illness, so he's on the bench. And for Fofana to come in for Rabiot. Fofana wasn't great. And that's one thing that I talked about France coming to this World Cup. Their midfield just not that good. And we saw how Morocco can cut through them so easily, but they have more than enough in attack to make up for it. I mean, look at that substitution that Deschamps made for Giroud to bring in Thuram. And that changed the attack to a more of a counter-attacking attack. And that played so well into the type of game that was. So what I've seen from France so far is that they can make up for their weaknesses, and Deschamps is able to adjust in-game to win games.
Yeah, I think Deschamps is often underrated, actually. This guy's won a World Cup as a player and as a manager. Hasn't had the greatest success at club level. Sometimes controversial as well, but he knows how to manage a tournament. And I thought he was very good today, like Albert mentioned.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he made that substitution. So many times do we see coaches not making a sub in time, waiting for the 70th, the 80th minute. And he was a bit more pragmatic, made the sub, and then, yeah, the game was completely switched in a different direction. I think it's great. And also, there's something about Didier Deschamps that is just like the embolism of like French football, you know? And like you said, he's won at the player level. So I think he brought that knowledge, that spirit with him to coaching France, and then also won it with them already again. And now, regardless of what happens on Sunday, he's still the coach of a team that's gone back-to-back finals of the World Cup. Didier Deschamps is sitting pretty right now.
Yeah, I also feel he kind of fell into this team by mistake. Not having Pogba or Conte or Benzema, because I feel if you put those players in, it could possibly throw off the balance. It might be crazy to say, but if you're getting Pogba or Conte, you're not going to get them at their best and in form.
But I think he deserves more credit for that because, okay, we're talking about Morocco and how they've, they're missing some players due to injury and whatnot. Look at this France team. You're talking about Ballon d'Or winner in Karim Benzema. Obviously, Paul Pogba and Conte, what they do. And then you have Rabiot who goes down today and Upamecano. And earlier in the tournament, was it Lucas Hernandez who went down as well? Like this French team is missing. You can make an argument for 5 or 6 legitimate starters on this team. But yet here they are still finding a way to crack the World Cup final. Like it's an unbelievable story in its own right.
It's going to be a really bad cold, right? To miss a World Cup semi-final.
Well, the report was it was from the air conditioning at the
This is
hotel.
what I've been telling you guys, though. The Brazilians were talking about it. It's not natural air. You shouldn't be. It's better almost to play in the heat with, I feel like, natural outside air than this recycled crap that's going in. And
They're also blaming the filthy English
That's right.
as well for
Yeah.
getting them sick because some players in England apparently had issues there.
is that actually something they
Yeah,
said?
no, it is.
I
Yeah,
thought
they're
you were
blaming
just
because
messing around.
you beat England. It's not enough. Let's blame them for something else now as well. You know.
Oh, no.
But I mean, you've got to be really sick though. I mean, Rabiot has got to be on his deathbed.
Yeah.
He better be on his deathbed.
Or like,
Yeah.
Right?
He's
I
been
mean,
one of the players of the tournament.
yeah, he's been really good.
Yeah.
But that midfield, like I said, is definitely a weakness. And obviously, if you had a Paul Pogba or a Kante, well, at least one of them you think would start, even if they weren't 100%. But here we are, a team without much of a midfield in the World Cup final. Just shows how good they are. And we haven't even mentioned Kylian Mbappe, who was absolutely brilliant. Again, for spurts today, not for the entire match, obviously, but he'll be the big focal point for Argentina. And we'll get to that match when we come back, as well as we'll look at some of the memories of World Cup finals past for all of us. Oh, the heartbreak and the anger and frustration. We love a World Cup final. Welcome back to room 442. Now, with respect to Croatia and Morocco, which would have been a really interesting final, that would upset some people for sure. It would have been a cool final. I got to tell you, I'm really happy that it's Argentina against France. This
Why,
is a legit, because it's a proper big nation final with superstars galore. I like fairy tales, don't get me wrong, in the semi-finals. For a final, we've been committing ourselves, our lives, to this damn tournament for the last month. Remember those 5 a.m. get-ups? They weren't easy. Reward us with a proper match in the final, all right? So you've got France against Argentina. All right, how's it going to go? Albert, what's your pick?
Well, we've been talking about this for, I feel like, a couple weeks now. This is Messi's, I love this. This is Messi's tournament to win. It just seems destined. And based on the way he's playing, after that semifinal, I can't look past anyone but him lifting that World Cup at the end of this matchup. It'll be difficult, but the way I see it, if Argentina can manage against that difficult midfield in Croatia, they can do some damage against this France very weak midfield, I believe.
Are you surprised to see the early lines that are out that France is slightly favored here over Argentina?
No, not really.
Champs.
It's essentially
Is that
it's
Maybe
so
that's why.
slight, but it's essentially a 50-50 game, and the odds kind of suggest that as well.
Yeah, I can see that as well.
Yeah, right now, Argentina plus 187, France plus 160 to draw, plus 220.
Yeah.
They're on Batano. So it is tight. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be a good final, an attacking final, do you think? I mean, France are quite happy to pass the ball around and keep them away from the pointed end of the field, so to speak. But Argentina with Messi are showing a lot more, I think, dynamicism so far.
Yeah, of course. And we've also seen Julian Alvarez really come into his
Yeah.
own. So there's another goal scorer there. We talked about this yesterday. Maybe a fit Di Maria finally coming into the starting lineup too, which could add to it. But I think you brought this up that France has scored 2 or more or something in most of their matches. So I actually think this is going to be relatively high scoring. Like I can't see like a 1-0 because obviously both teams have the ability to score, whether it's through, Giroud, Griezmann, Dembele, or Messi.
These two teams are actually really similar in that light, where they
Yeah.
really rely on that one game breaker to make the difference, right? It's going to come down to a guy like Mbappe versus a guy like Messi, and maybe the golden ball will come down to sort of what happens in this game. We'll see what happens there. But I think France today didn't do anything that inspired me to make me believe that this team is going to be the favorites in this game. Argentina, on the other hand, they looked really good against Croatia and arguably had their best match of the tournament. If I'm picking a game here, picking a winner based on past form, I think I got to lean with Argentina. And another reason is you look at the spaces that Morocco picked up the ball today.
Middle.
If
You know where it
that's-
is, yeah.
That's Messi's favorite spot on the pitch to
Yeah.
pick up the ball. If he finds a way to get in those pockets, and it's very different when it's Hakim Ziyech picking up the ball there versus a guy like
Totally.
Lionel Messi. That could be a difference.
Not to mention, sorry, those through balls that Morocco created right through the entire middle of the park for France. And they were great through balls. But imagine somebody like Messi having that much space to create that. I
With
completely...
Alvarez on the other end.
Yeah, like that's what I'm thinking. I completely agree with Mikey. You nailed it. The two semifinals, one team looked so much more put together than the other team, I think, as well.
But we'll say there's only one Griezmann though as well. Like there isn't a Griezmann on Argentina
No.
Yeah.
right now, and he again today was just a clever, cerebral player who looks fresh right now. So it's a really good matchup, isn't it overall?
It is. I mean, tactically, it's so interesting because we know that both these teams can play without the ball or play in possession. They've shown that throughout the tournament. So it'll be interesting to see how they set up. Will one team give up possession? Will they both try and dominate the ball? So I think there's so many different ways that both these teams can win this game. But I think it's just going to come down to the two players. I really do. With Mbappe and Messi. X factors are so
Teammates.
important, right?
As well.
Yeah,
Teammates.
and
PSG are
players
loving
who,
it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
players who create moments. And we keep talking about moments, and those two guys can steal it.
Unless, of course, the flu is raging through.
Come on, man.
Well,
Come
listen,
on.
there's 2 players already. These
That's
things
a
go
really good
around.
point.
It,
That's
it,
a
it
really
could
good
be one of
point.
those, X factors, which could be quite significant.
That
What if
would be
Mbappe gets
so,
a bit
that
of a
would be
sore throat
so
tonight?
sad, though.
Come on,
I wouldn't put him past him to stay in bed.
Not at all.
Not Messi, though, right? So,
No,
way.
no. Messi can't be touched by
He's
any
dealing
kind
with
of
a bit of
virus.
a abductor issue, apparently. But
Messi is?
yeah.
Well, he's
That's a
grabbing his hammy,
PSG
right?
problem. That's a
Hamstring.
PSG problem when he goes back to Paris.
Yeah, I think it's all nonsense. He's just going to plant that seed in
Yeah.
the French coaching staff. Messi may not be 100%.
Yeah, well, he
Watch
planted
out.
the seed in Mikey's head every
He
time
bought
he kept
into it.
touching his head.
Yeah.
Mikey's
You
like,
bought
yeah.
right into it, didn't you?
Man, he was doing that at a 0-0 game. I don't know if he's just playing chess out here and thinking about the final, but yeah, I don't know about
Maybe he
his
just had an
hamstring.
itch. Right?
Like a
Maybe that's
really
simple.
bad
Maybe he
itch
just had
over
an
the
itch.
course of the
Maybe
game.
he's got a rash.
Hey, he's human after all.
It's possible. It's hot out there.
Well,
rash, man.
Yeah, yeah. World Cup finals. Wide shot. We've got to get this in the wide shot. Come on. World Cup finals can often be actually, not the greatest of games, right?
Yeah.
But there are moments, of course. We've all enjoyed them and had some bad moments, of course, over the years. So let's go around the table here and talk about some of those moments that have stood out to you in World Cup finals, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Michael, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it's very fitting that my moment is going back to not that long ago, 2014. And of course, we know Argentina, Germany, fantastic game, 0-0, goes to extra time. And the one guy to break through was an up-and-coming German star in Mario Götze, and takes the ball off his chest, brings it down, and the finish sliding far post to secure that late winner for Germany. That was an unbelievable moment, not only for him personally, but for Germany overall, who they were tested in that game. You know, Argentina had a lot of chances. Messi had chances. They came close, but they couldn't break through. And Mario Götze did find a way. Here's a little trivia question for you guys. Do you know who played the ball in to Mario Götze? You
Close,
did? Hold
close,
on.
on.
close.
No.
Shirla?
Podolski,
Was Mario Gomez on that team?
I'm sure he
Schweinsteiger.
was on that team, but
It wasn't Gomez.
it wasn't Gomez. It was Andre Schürrle.
Andre
Andre
Oh,
Schürrle. What
well
a
done.
pull,
Ball.
man.
Yeah.
What a ball, too.
It's an
yeah.
underrated goal that nobody really talks
Great goal.
about.
What?
The take? No, I'm
I
just
feel like
talking about
everybody talks about that goal.
it being a goal to win the World Cup final is huge. But technically, for him to take it full pace,
No,
drop
for sure.
it.
It was a great
oh my
goal.
God.
Well, and good for him because his career, it could have been so much better, I think, than it was through injuries. He got curtailed there,
Yeah.
right? There's him and Marco Reus, you know, such amazing players. And they never quite reached those heights. I mean, he won a World Cup. I know he's won a lot of league titles. But what a player Mario Götze
Yeah, seriously.
was.
Here's a fun fact. Toronto FC were interested.
Ah.
Oh, get out of here.
It's
Interested.
one of Mikey's trademarked fun, not really fun fact.
It's a little fun, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, Sarah, what you got?
Surprise, surprise. Andres Iniesta, also a 0-0, extra time goal, 116th minute. First of all, golazo. Like, what a beautiful goal that was for Spain. But the tribute as well, afterwards, taking off his shirt, Danny Jarque, really, really emotional. Wearing this jersey, actually. But also because it was the first match where I watched with my dad, actually, where I was of a certain age. In 2006, I was at a birthday party. 2002, I was a little too young, but this was the first game me and my dad watched it fully together at a bar. And then we went onto the streets and, like, climbed the streetcars in Toronto. Like, it was really, like, it was a beautiful moment. But that goal, to me, was just amazing. And the fact that it was Iniesta, like, the epitome of
Oh, yeah.
Barcelona and Spain at that time.
And having watched Sarah during this World Cup for the first time, she did climb streetcars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
There's no
no
doubt about
surprise.
it.
There was no surprise
Yeah,
that you
no
mentioned
surprise
that.
there. She would have lost control when Spain won that. But I mean, what a team that was.
What a
Back to
team.
back European
Yeah. Oh my
champions, World Cup
gosh.
champions. My God, superb. All right, Birdie, what you got?
2006, Zidane. Not the headbutt, even though that's a huge
That's
moment.
the moment.
That's
Dude.
that jersey.
The Panenka
Yeah.
against Buffon. Think about what it takes for a player to pull. It was 7 minutes into the game, but to Panenka, one of the best goalies in the world, one of the best players in the world, steps up. Panenka bar down. What like the
Audacity.
testicular fortitude
Bold.
it takes
Say it.
Testicular
to do that, honestly. And he was in that World Cup. Zidane was like unplayable, and that was
Yeah.
his last. That was the
Oh,
last time we saw
unbelievable.
him.
That was
It's unfortunate the way it ended, but we still got to see an incredible moment. I'll never forget that.
Well, he was the Golden Ball winner, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That World Cup, despite getting the headbutt from Materazzi, you just lured him in and played that so
Dirty
well.
little
I still want to know the true story behind that.
Yeah, yeah,
dirty little player.
Yeah,
It was-
absolutely. For me, I'm going back a little bit further. You guys won't remember this. 94
No, I
in the
won't.
States.
I was alive, James.
I
Come
wasn't
on.
You were alive, but you don't remember it. I mean,
I
you're
wasn't
like,
checked in
Two,
yet.
6.
6? Okay. I was about 40, I think. But in the final, in the
about right.
Rose Bowl, and Roberto Baggio, the divine ponytail, the best player in world football. He's a Ballon d'Or winner that year. He'd bossed it in the group stages, scored 5 goals. He was just something special. And of course, it went down to penalties against Brazil. And it was his penalty that went over the bar by about 3 miles, worse than Harry Kane's, I think.
Ooh.
But I just was heartbroken for him because he was such a great character, such a great player as well. And to see a team like Italy crash out in penalties in the World Cup final to Brazil, I mean, this guy is now in some ways defined by that moment, which is so unfair. Juventus,
It's gonna be okay.
I know. Well, you know what?
It's gonna be
So for
okay.
years in my career, when someone missed a penalty over the bar, I'd say that they Baggio'd it.
Yeah.
I got so much hate from Italian fans, so I'm taking this time now to apologize to all the Italian fans out there for. I was young, I was green, I was irresponsible. It wasn't right. I still love Roberto Baggio, and it was a tough summer for a lot of Italian fans.
Turned
that
into a
year.
big therapy
No.
session.
That's what he's known for. It's the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, among soccer fans who, aren't as old as you, James, and that's not a knock. I'm just being honest.
There's some people
Younger,
Yeah.
that's what they remember
know,
him for.
and
That's
it's-
what I remember him for.
Yeah.
Inter Milan, Juventus. I mean,
Yeah.
what a player he was, right? And he just
Yeah.
did everything but one kick in. Hopefully, Harry Kane's not defined by that.
Is that a tear?
Maybe a
in
little
your
bit.
eye?
A little bit on that, yeah,
He's
yeah.
choking up
It's
a
an
little.
emotional
bit.
game, man.
It's very emotional. I have the air conditioning in this place. That's
Yeah.
right.
I'll get the floor.
All right, so it's time for a break. When we come back, though, we'll get you set for the final with Fast Money Football. It is fast money football getting you set for Argentina, France, 10 a.m. Eastern on Sunday. Yes, the World Cup final. We'll be overanalyzing this for the next couple of days. Get you a whole ton of great picks courtesy Botano. But today, some fun, some props perhaps. Albert, what are you looking at ahead of the final?
Well, you took the bet that I actually wanted, so I went a step further. Argentina to win on penalties plus 875. I don't have much to back this up other than I think Messi will win this, but I think 3 out of the last 4 World Cups have gone to extra time. So I'm assuming this one will too, and it'll come down to Messi. Last penalty kick, they win.
Oh my goodness.
And you win some money.
What a way to put is that cherry on top, right?
Oh.
Of that career to win it
Hopefully
on
he gets the
penalties.
kick.
Maybe he scores a hat trick in the game as well.
But there's no way Messi takes the last.
He's taking the
kick,
first
right?
kick.
Yeah,
He's
he's
gonna
taking
take
the
the
first
first
one.
kick.
Not number 5? I'm not gonna go down that
No,
route.
no,
Isn't that what you
no.
do? All right, Sarah.
I'm going to be a little bit safer there and go for the over 2.5 goals. Plus 132, I feel like I can't be mad at that. Both teams can score. We know what the offensive attack on both sides. I mean, we got Messi, Alvarez, Mbappe. I can't see this game not being, a 1-0. I think it's going to be like a 2-2 maybe into extra time. So I think it's a safe bet. Better, Argentina, you're crazy.
Hey,
but
having some fun.
yeah.
It's gonna be a 0-0 game now.
They was cagey though, weren't they? Seems, but what
Finals,
do you think?
finals, they don't take too many risks, but we'll see. Maybe it will. What I'm gonna do is I saw this interesting prop bet on there, over 28 minutes for the first goal to occur. So after the 28-minute mark, and I'm like, just doing the simple math in my head, that's less than a third of the game. So at even money,
Messi
Why
scores
not?
5 minutes. in.
Why not?
why not? Why
I'm
not?
amazed that you figured out it was a third of the game.
Honestly,
Congratulations, man.
I double checked in my head just now. Like, is it actually a third of the game? I'm not.
Because they will be filling themselves out for a while there, right? It's bound to happen.
At least
So even.
That's what we think.
That's
We think.
that's the logic.
Could be a
of
barn
these
burner. Who
things.
knows?
I would hope so.
I think it's going to go long. And as Albert kind of mentioned there, alluded to, I have penalties plus 410 going all the way once again. I just can't imagine if that happens, because it happens quite frequently in World Cup finals over the years. But when it does happen, you just try and pitch yourself on that pitch, and the pressure these guys are under. And it's a tough way to lose. We know that. But if you see Messi crowning glory, scoring the winning penalty at a World Cup final, maybe it'll all be worth it after all. But there's some good value there.
I think the last time a penalty or World Cup went to penalties was 2006, if I'm not mistaken. That was France Italy.
Yeah.
And
not
that's
18,
the
not
David
14,
David
not 10. Yeah.
Trezeguet.
Yeah, because the
David
last one,
Trezeguet,
David
yeah.
Trezeguet hitting the crossbar.
Yeah, it wasn't the last 3 of
the last
them
one was
extra
France
time.
Croatia 4-2. It's a lot of scoring, but pretty
That was a weird
disappointing.
one, wasn't it, last time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Croatia
was
just they ran
boring.
out
Pretty
of steam.
disappointing.
Germany, Argentina extra time, 2010 extra
Spain.
time.
Yep. All right, we're out of time.
Like he's got it.
Speaking of that, we're going to penalties at this point. That was Room 442. Back tomorrow doing more of the same. Hope you enjoyed it. Cheers for watching.